Success starts in the mind. Hello, y'all. I'm Diana Brienne. I got to thinking about healing. And how I got to thinking about that was I was engaged in a conversation yesterday with someone, and we were talking about someone else who was going through a significant health crisis. And I got to thinking back about people that I know that are either going through a health crisis or who have successfully been through one with a successful outcome and how they did it. And so we got to talking about that, and I said, healing starts in the mind. It starts with the mind. The mind directs the direction and the way that person wants to go and the results that they want to get. And it is that way in any area of our lives, whether it is health, fitness, relationships, finances, career, whether it's a goal, a vision, a dream, or whether it's a solution to a problem. It starts in the mind, and it starts with a mindset. If we have a negative mindset, one of total fear and worry, likely that's putting the brakes on us finding the right solutions. Whereas if we have a positive mindset, a positive attitude, we are likely putting our foot on the gas pedal, so to speak, towards the right answers, the right solutions. Okay? And so our mindset begins the journey to success or to failure. And what happens when we get into a positive mindset, we then begin to look for answers. We begin to look for ideas. We begin to look for solutions. We begin to look for the right people, the right circumstances, the right choices, the right behaviors to create the kind of outcomes that we want, whether it's to achieve a dream, a goal, or a solution. And so setting your mind up for success is very, very important. And yet I see so many people set their minds up for failure. Well, I can't do it. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And they become frantic. And in the midst of that frantic, they're creating negative energy. And then that creates negative ideas, and that points them towards the road of failure. I know someone who got a terminal diagnosis recently, and a very short time that they were given. And there was nothing that the doctors basically could do for this person. And so I said, well, you know what? Talk it over with your doctor, but perhaps you should go, a different kind of path that might work for you. And so they did. They talked it over with their doctor, and their doctor said, sure, why not? Because, well, you've got a terminal diagnosis. And so they started on this positive mindset, and they started making positive decisions, and they started to do positive alternatives. And I have to tell you, they're doing amazing, and they're doing wonderful. And they went to their doctor yesterday, and the doctor was amazed. And so what the doctor gave up on, the person themselves did not give up on. They believe that they're going to be well. And it starts in a mindset of believing that you will be well. Now, they could have just listened to the doctor and said, okay, this is it, go home and pack my bags. And they didn't do that. They got into a positive mindset that they were going to be well. And it's the same way, even if you feel overwhelmed with your finances, you don't have the answers, you're heavily in debt. Maybe it was through wrong choices or just circumstances that happened. And now you're heavily in debt. You can sit there and you can, feel terrible about it, and you can cry about it all you want. But until you get into that positive mindset of finding solutions, you're probably just going to wallow in the problem. But once you get into that positive mindset of how to get out of that debt, you will begin those choices and decisions and create the actions to get you out of debt and get you back into the financial arena of success that you want to be in. If you want to find a relationship and you've been disappointed and you haven't found one, perhaps it has to do with how you're talking to yourself. Well, all I do is pick wrong relationships. So that's pointing you in that direction. But if you say to yourself, I am finding and surrounding myself with only right relationships for my life, then you're going to begin to program your mind for that and go in that direction. Okay? So it's about how we program our mind. It's like programming our computer. We tell it what to do, and then it goes in there, and if we type in certain keywords in the search bar, it goes and searches everything that we typed in. And it's the same way with thinking positive or negative. Whatever we type into our mind, it's going to begin to search for those answers. So if you type negativity in, it's going to look for those kind of answers. And if you type in positivity, it's going to search for those kind of answers. So your success or your failure starts with a mindset. And so if you want to be successful in any area of your life, whether it's your health, your fitness, your finances, your relationships, any area, it starts in your mind. It starts with your mindset, a positive mindset, backed up with positive choices, decisions, and positive actions to get positive results. From my house to yours, may God bless you. I hope you like, share, subscribe, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.